For America's climate goals, investing in clean energy adds up. But what doesn't add up is an additionality requirement for clean hydrogen. Additionality would put an unnecessary and inequitable burden on domestic clean hydrogen producers and have serious consequences for America. America needs clean hydrogen, but an additionality requirement just doesn't add up. Get the facts at cleanhydrogentoday.org. Paid for by the Fuel Cell and Hydrogen Energy Association.
Hello and welcome to the Corner Flag. It seems like somebody in this room has had a taste of their own humble pie. Right, Mukesh? Right? Did you like it? Did you like it? Huh? Tell me now. Tell now. This is episode 206.
Amogh, you should know I'm super happy because RRR won the Oscar.
Right.
And I'm super happy about that.
Right.
All about Natu today.
Yes.
You and I are a great partnership, much like the dancers in the song show.
You look a bit like Junior NTR also.
And you
or
look,
is it Ramcharan?
You figure out because you will tell me all South Indians look the same.
Listen, we got rid of all of that racism in the last episode.
Correct.
There's going to be none of that bullshit happening in this episode. It's a very clean episode. India has won at the Oscars, not South India. India.
Yeah. Yes, now India has won at the Oscars.
Now, but they said it themselves.
Correct.
That we're walking for India, we're here for India and all.
Nice.
Mm.
Yeah, so I'm very happy about...
I'm with you. All these North Indians also are like on other days like, oh, these South Indians, they films and all. But now when it wins an Oscar, I was like, yeah, we all won it together. We also had equity in this. मैंने खुद जाके उसको बोला ऐसा डांस कर.
Yeah, so that's what I'm really happy about, man.
Right.
It's a good Monday, good weekend because RRR won, and what more do we need to even talk about?
Yeah, they won one Oscar.
They won one Oscar.
Yeah, it was one, and
wasn't 0-0.
Yeah, it wasn't 0-0. It was 1-0. You can say
1-0. 1 to RRR, 0 to everybody else.
Yeah, exactly. So 1-0. That was the score of the thing. But we'll begin this episode and we'll get to that 1-0. Then we'll begin this episode with the ISL playoffs because unfortunately Mumbai City FC are out of the Hero ISL playoffs. They went into the second leg against Bengaluru FC with a 1-0 deficit. Of course, Bengaluru beating Mumbai City at the Mumbai Football Arena in the first leg, 1-0. Also 1-0. But they went to Bangalore. They won the fixture 2-1, which was really good because Bengaluru took the lead, and then Mumbai came back with 2 goals, which meant that the tie was tied. On aggregated 2-2, went into extra time, went into penalties. All penalties scored except poor old Mehtab Singh, Mumbai City FC defender, whose penalty was saved by Gurpreet. And that means Bengaluru FC will play the finals against either ATK Mohun Bagan or Hyderabad FC.
And at that point, Hyderabad will again, hopefully will shine. Hopefully. But yeah.
I mean, it's all to play for because the first leg between Hyderabad and Mohun Bagan ended up 0-0. So the second leg is tonight. So are you going to be watching that game?
I will be watching this game because Hyderabad's playing. And I think, Monday we delivered some good news. Tuesday, Hyderabad can win ISL, just... I feel like it's decreasing returns, but still great.
Right. With that, let's talk about the other 1-0 result because...
no.
What is it that you said when Liverpool beat United 7-0? You said something about humble pie.
Correct. You needed the humble pie. We didn't need it. We were always humble about everything.
Really?
We were humble.
Can we please play the recording of the previous episode? Just add some clips here.
It's total annihilation.
Yeah, I don't want to talk about this anymore. So if you have any thoughts...
pummeling of the highest order. It was catastrophic.
Thesaurus leke baitha hai kya?
Biblical. He was destroyed. He was screwed, man. Lagga. No, and I think Rashford does some really nice work with feeding underprivileged kids some food. So he fed, I think, so Liverpool continued that by feeding all Man United fans some humble pie. In fact, I do feel like there's one cycle of Liverpool's dominance is over, and this sort of gives me the confidence that a second cycle of Liverpool dominance is beginning, and these are the flashes of it. Like, when the midfield clicks, you can know how lethal the team can be.
I do agree. And
I do feel like I'm going to start a new religion with Salah as like this Jesus, a new age Jesus. Which all were true, by the way.
Yeah, right.
Which all were excellently true. But yes, I think that you lost 7-0 to the team that lost 1-0 to Crystal.
That's actually
Bournemouth.
true. That's actually true because I also tweeted saying, haha, this is amazing. But then I was like, wait, does this mean United are shit now?
Yeah.
Because is this how football results work?
No,
But-
yeah, this is clearly Liverpool's corporate social responsibility. Because I think every time a team has been 20th and we played them, Liverpool have lost. I think it was Leeds, Forest, and I think now Bournemouth. So we're giving away 3 points. We've lost 9 points. We did our social service. We're good. We're happy with this. Anybody is 20th now, has a plan of being 20th, we're going to give away points. Anything to push Everton down.
Yeah.
Nothing like pushing your closest rival down. That's what we're going to get out of this
so
season.
now Everton are like a rival.
Rival. Yeah.
They were just like some team that also shares the same pin code.
Yeah.
But now they're rivals.
Now they're rival. Now we want to
Right.
push them down.
Liverpool are now 6th in the league, by the way, because last time around you were very happy that they were 5th. And there wasn't too much of a points gap, but Liverpool are now currently
football
6th.
is about memories created. It's not about rankings.
I'm just going to tell you, this fixture has created some great memories for me. 1-0 loss to Bournemouth is absolutely fantastic. Let's talk about the game. Philip Billing with the goal. He ends up scoring a lot of goals against the big sides, this man. And Liverpool just didn't have an answer. Oh, wait, sorry. They had an option to give an answer. But what happened then, Mukesh? Just remind me what happened. Something that your king did. Somebody that was crowned by Trent Alexander-Arnold in the previous game. And you were just like, man, he's a king. And that's the image that will start a religion. So how was the first day of that religion for you?
Correct. It began with sacrifice. He sacrificed 3 points for the poorer team.
Yeah.
And what better way to be a king than to sacrifice 3 points?
This is like you joining Scientology. Like on the side, on the start, on the face of it, it sounds all well and good. Oh, Tom Cruise also supports it. Well done, nice. Then you get into it, you're like, what the fuck have I gotten myself into?
Yeah, I know. It was unfortunate. I think it was Salah's first miss. It was his first penalty miss, I think, in his Liverpool career. Not sure about that. And unfortunately, it came at this point when we were really struggling for points. And I think, generally, I think Liverpool attack had a very poor game.
Right.
They couldn't convert. And then the first 25 minutes also, they had so many chances that could have easily been converted, but that didn't happen. And then the penalty came, which could have at least gotten us 1 point.
Yeah. But do you think now that they've scored 7 goals against Man United, they have depleted their goal scoring possibilities for the next 3-4 games?
They're done, yeah. I think Liverpool, instead of, we don't prefer 7 1-0s, we prefer 1 7-0.
Yeah.
I think someone forgot to tell them that they have to score in all games.
Yeah.
Because the goals scored by the end of the season will look like, hey, we scored 100 goals, yeah? What's wrong with that?
Yeah.
And then now this is what happens.
Also, if
Deflated.
if Mo Salah is your new king in your new religion, can I also get a mention for correctly calling out the 1-0 result in last week's episode? I'm a fucking fortune teller, man.
Yeah, you're a fortune teller, and we will invade your country soon, and we'll start crusades against you.
Why does it have to be so violent? Why does it always have to be so violent?
Because football is not a clean, calm game, Amogh. Football's about violence. Amogh, I really can't do this. Let's move on to the next one.
Why move on to the next one? Because last week, though, you were very happy to stay on one game.
Much like Liverpool, I finished all my conversation last week only. I didn't pace it out. Like they didn't pace out goals. I haven't paced out conversation for 2-3 podcasts.
But what do you think is wrong here now? Like how does Liverpool come back from this?
I think
how does Liverpool fight to stay in the Europa League spots?
I have actually a thing. I have told this before also. I think I don't want Champions. I don't want Europa League, Conference League and all.
See, I don't think it's up to you. I don't think you have
still in our hands.
I don't think you have any input into wanting any type of European competition. The players are making sure that you stay away from all European competitions because Newcastle are 2 points ahead of you in 5th place and they have a game in hand. And with the way they're going, I wouldn't be surprised if they get those 3 points. They're playing Nottingham Forest next, which should be an easy fixture for them. Brighton are 3 points behind you and they have 2 games in hand. So there is a possibility that and they're playing Crystal Palace next, so in this double game week for them. So there is a possibility that by the end of this game week, you will probably still stay 6th, but by the end of the next game week, you will be in 7th place. Seventh place gets you what? Conference League?
Conference League.
But do you have to like do you get into the qualifiers for the Conference League? You
I
know,
think
like
we
a
get
shit team from Europe?
I think we'll get eliminated in the first round
Right.
and just focus on the three leagues. The league and the 2 cups at home, and that's it. I don't want any other distraction. I just want to focus next season
And
on Premier League.
Yeah, I was just saying you're talking about next season because clearly this season you have nothing to play for.
This season is nothing to play for. No, all hope is lost.
So then
Hopefully
why
we
don't
get
you?
fourth.
So then why don't you drop
It's
down?
either 4th or 10th. I don't want anything in between. I want either 4th or 10th.
Go even further down, no?
Go to relegation.
Yeah, you're
Everton.
saying Everton is a rival anyway, so
Yeah.
then properly rival. Them
I think
for it.
I'm okay with 4th or 10th. Nothing in between. I don't want any of this nonsense in between, unless they beat Real Madrid. Even as I say, that sounds
I mean, my
hilarious.
offer still stands. If they do come back and beat Real Madrid with a 3-goal deficit, then I will wear a Liverpool jersey on the next recording. When is the game, by the way?
I think this week sometime.
Okay, cool. We'll see what happens in next week's episode. We'll see what
Yeah.
that's going on. But you said that football is not a violent game, or you said it is a violent game. What did you say?
It is a violent game.
It is. Sorry, I forgot to pay attention to you because I was laughing internally at your plight. So I just wanted to see you completely lose your shit for losing 1-0 to the team that's 20th in the Premier League.
It's for me the
18th
funniest
now,
part is,
thanks to you.
Yeah, for me the funniest part is this is the 3rd time this is happening, where we've lost to a team placed 20th, and this is, who does this shit? Shameless. What? This is outrageous.
When
behavior.
are you playing Southampton next?
Oh no, I don't know. I don't want to know.
Because there's a James Ward-Prowse free kick waiting to happen.
And you know how much I'm a sucker for James Ward-Prowse.
Yeah, I don't understand why. He's really not a great player.
Oh my God, Amogh, yeah, I think you have no understanding of the value, how valuable football players who can
वो
last.
बस free kick मारता है.
No, Amogh, he lasts. Again, let's not get into
अरे
this
he
debate.
lasts मतलब
Again,
क्या?
I will give you this, that there are very few hard-working midfielders like him who will give you 38 games. That if he's playing at a shit team like Southampton and he's still playing 38 games, it becomes
Because
so
he's playing 38 games because he's playing in a shit team like Southampton. They don't have any other competition to play in.
That's what I'm trying to say. He's still doing all the hard work for them. And in a bigger club, he'll thrive a lot more under the current system.
No, I feel like he will go completely missing.
No, there are systems in which he will go completely missing for sure at bigger clubs. Like probably at a Chelsea. But I think...
No.
Not really.
Firstly, what system does Chelsea have?
Correct, that's what I'm trying to say. Because there is no system and it's whatever. But I'm sure if in maybe not even a Klopp system of such high... Like, he'll tire out in such high pressing system. But I'm sure like maybe in a Guardiola sort of where it's quick short passes. I'm sure he'll really
Oh
thrive
my
in that.
God. Are you seriously suggesting that James Ward-Prowse...
Go to Man City. That's what I'm suggesting.
Oh God. How delusional do you have to be
When I
to
support...
make that statement?
I am not delusional at all. I think James Ward-Prowse would fit very well into City. I think he's a great player for any manager to have. Any manager should just take him up, lap him up.
I think we should have a moment of silence for the death of Mukesh's brain at this point, because
Hey.
what the fuck are you talking about?
I'm okay. I mean, I value him and I rate him very highly as a player.
For what? All he does is take a free kick. What else does he do? Like, what has he contributed? I don't see him contributing in any way apart from dead ball situations. I don't think he has it in him to stamp his authority in the middle of the park. Lavia does that for Southampton. He doesn't really defend as well as a man in his position should. He doesn't really attack as well as a man in his position should. Literally all he does is score from free kicks and put in good corners. That's literally
He
it.
puts in good corners. He scores great free kicks. He carries the ball from one place to the other. He's not the most showy player, but he's a hardworking, knows he can pass really well. He can pass.
That's the bare minimum you require from any football player. A football player from Forest Green Rovers will also have the same requirements.
Sure, but he does it really well. He does it.
How?
excellently.
No.
And he does it.
No, that's what I'm
He
trying to
has
say. He does-
great consistency, Amogh. He's consistently good. He can. I don't think.
Okay.
And I don't think you're appreciating the fact that someone can last 38 games uninjured and play all of them while playing in the midfield.
I'm sorry, but that is very easy to do when you're only playing in one competition.
Sure, which is why I'm saying he has to find the right system for him, and I'm sure he can find a manager who can use him really well, and it doesn't mean any of the top.
How is this possible? How can you say this so convincingly?
Because I'm supremely convinced, and I feel like you're being quite naive about how inefficient he might be. But I feel like this conversation is getting derailed from...
No. I want to state because we were thinking about doing the debate in this episode and now this is it. This is
a very
the
serious
debate.
debate.
This is a very serious debate. See, I don't think James Ward-Prowse gets you anything more than that one skill set. And that cannot be the reason why he becomes a mainstay in any football team. Fuck that. Just see what other managers are saying. No, like England call up nahi mila hai usko.
I'm not saying the team will be built around him. I'm not valuing him like...
I'm not saying that an England call-up means that the team is going to be built around him. It's not like Gareth Southgate is going to give him a call-up and be like, Jude Bellingham, you're fucking off because James Ward-Prowse is now here. So your job is under threat. That's never going to happen. But he's not even been called up to warm the bench. Connor Cody has been called up multiple times to warm the bench.
See, I don't want to get into the England part of it.
Why not? The hallmark of a good player is the national call-up that they get.
See, to me, here's the thing, right? I think everything even first. Okay, let's not rule out how good his free kick taking style is. Because even Guardiola's called him the best free kick taker in the league.
Dude, Guardiola has said Nathan Redmond is the best winger in the league. So I don't trust Guardiola's opinions.
Okay, great. Now we're not trusting Guardiola at all.
Because Guardiola says dumb shit from time to time. You're not supposed to take that shit seriously. He just says he loves everything and everyone about football.
Yeah, correct. Okay, either way. He's great at set pieces. He's great at putting them in. He's played. Okay, again, I don't know.
You made two points right now, which were the same point. He's great at free kicks. He's great at putting them in. That's the same point.
He's great at corners and set pieces and all of that, right? That's number 2. Third thing is, Amogh, he went 2 seasons uninjured. How are you underrating that aspect of a football player?
But
do you know what a manager would do, especially... I mean, maybe because I come from Klopp's Liverpool, which is all about injuries. Do you know what I would do to have a player go 2 seasons uninjured?
Which is great, but there are so many other players who also go many seasons uninjured. That is absolutely fine. Like, it happens.
No, I don't think that's as common as you think it is, especially, again, like I said, you're a team that's been on the decline for a while. You don't know how this works. As a team that's been on top for a while.
Paul Scholes was never injured. Ryan Giggs was hardly ever injured.
Sachin Tendulkar. I'm not talking about Purana Samana. I'm talking about now. Abhi. Tell me in the modern footballing world, a player who's gone 2 seasons without missing a minute of football.
Harry Maguire.
Yeah, greater than that's
Harry Maguire.
That's a good example. Amogh
Maguire has actually not missed minutes of football due to injury. The only minutes of football he's missed is because he's shit.
Yeah.
But he's not been injured. So that can't. I mean, it's not like I completely deny your point of view. Yes,
like that kind of fitness, that kind of stamina, that's insane.
Yeah, but I'm guaranteeing you, if you put him in a team that's competing across multiple competitions, and if they're going deep, and I know that even Southampton were in the Carling Cup, Carabao Cup, and the FA Cup when the round started, but then they got knocked out fairly quickly. But I'm saying if you're a team that goes deep into these competitions, you're playing those extra games, especially with the domestic competition, as well as you're playing in Europe, which a top team like the ones you're seeing, Guardiola's Man City or Klopp's Liverpool or whatever, are planning on doing. Maybe not Liverpool. But if you're going to play those many competitions, he is going to get injured more. It's that his body hasn't been tested over and above the 38 games.
Wait, first of all, 2 seasons. 2 seasons in a row, he didn't miss a single game, was uninjured.
Because he doesn't do anything apart from fucking take free kicks. Only way James Ward-Prowse can get injured is if he twists his ankle while taking a free kick. He literally does nothing else on a football pitch. How will he get injured? It's not like he holds the ball enough for him to be tackled by players. He's not a winger. He's not a tricky winger who's going to do step overs and try and take a defender on and attract people to foul him. So he's not going to get injured that way. How else is he going to get injured?
Don't ask me how he's going to get injured, why he's not injured. There are players who are playing in the most humblest positions who are getting injured at left, right and center.
Yeah.
Right? So Thiago's injured all the time. So I don't know how that's happening. If their brittle bodies are present everywhere. So I think to have that sort of a person.
But see,
I'm saying even at a big club, if you have a player like him. Okay, Liverpool played pretty much every game in every competition last season.
Yeah.
Which is about roughly 60 games.
Yeah.
Which is about 22 more than the Premier League. So roughly 22 more than the Premier League. Right. That means if Liverpool had one player who could last 30 games and only the Premier League we used him for, and we could use the other resources for those 22 games, it's easily the difference between And again, one final going this way, that way. It's easily the difference.
Okay, but
and that makes such a big difference too for him in a big team. But any big team would be so lucky to have someone like him.
What you're forgetting to understand
I'm not saying, oh, he's who the team is built around, or he's who.
I mean, let's be honest. Southampton is built around James Ward-Prowse.
Sure, I'm saying when he goes into a big team, he doesn't become. I'm not saying he's a star player, but I'm saying he's someone they will find invaluable to take into the team just so that he could last for that long.
Calvin Phillips is not playing for Man City. Calvin Phillips is a much better midfielder than James Ward-Prowse. Do you think James Ward-Prowse is going to even make it to the bench of a Man City?
It depends on what system there is and if he's used for it.
It doesn't depend on the system. The only system he can play is a system where you get free kicks every 5 minutes. That's the only system where he fits.
No, that's a little unfair. I feel like if you can use him if you can like deploy him in if your team, are you telling me if at a certain Man City and there are certain, okay, I'm just going to use Liverpool example. At Liverpool, you have the midfield is extremely injury prone, midfield and defense extremely injury prone. Prone because of whatever systems, etc. If Liverpool had a player like him, right, and if Liverpool could use him whenever they were playing the bottom 10, right, the bottom 10 of the league, which is like basic bread and butter points, Liverpool, that's about, say, 19 matches, roughly about 15 to 20 matches, say, because it keeps fluctuating here and there, but 15, 20 matches. If you could have a player like him play 15, 20 matches with the pressure off of your Thiagos and Fabinhos, that's the difference between 10 extra points for Liverpool. Which team would not be happy to have a player like him who knows
it's not 10 extra points for Liverpool because it's not like he's going to definitely
but he's the difference between a player not working, a slightly brittle player injuring themselves over an extra 5-6 games and having to be fitter for far fewer games, and that's it. And that's the same mistake that Liverpool did with Wijnaldum, although a different player but a very similar profile and a similar sort of I don't know what else, but the vibe, which is in the sense that is not too showy, not too attacking, but just does the basics, right? Scored 2 great goals in that Liverpool Barcelona match. Has that capacity to do that. Converts free kicks. Who wouldn't want a Super Bowl? Are you crazy? Like I said, I think again at the end of the day, I think the debate has gone on for way too long. I have made my case, which is that James Ward-Prowse would fit. Again, I'm not saying that I think maybe I still think you mistake it for me saying that he is a star player in any midfield, and that's ridiculous for anybody to say, even James Ward-Prowse himself, despite his confidence within himself. But I definitely think a player like him going into a team which has a lot of injuries, or which at that highest level where players are attacked a lot more, fouled a lot more, if you can have a player like him who knows the Premier League, who knows the English Cups, take him in. It frees up your best players, your showiest midfielders, your brightest attackers, your fastest wingers for at least 5-6 games, and that makes such a big difference at the top level.
I'll give you my final thought on this. I completely understand what you're trying to say. He can be a fringe player, basically. He can be a backup player.
Do you think Wijnaldum was a fringe player in that peak season when Liverpool won? He wasn't a fringe player.
Wijnaldum was a significantly more talented footballer than James Ward-Prowse.
Sure, but I'm saying it's a similar role. So he wasn't a fringe player. I'm saying even 2-3 shades
squad
below
player,
Wijnaldum.
Squad player.
Sure, okay, even if he's a squad player, that's great. He comes in and that's like.
I feel like if James Ward-Prowse goes to Liverpool and becomes a squad player and plays in only certain games, right? Which is what you think is the best way to utilize him in a team like Liverpool.
Or a Man City, or
a Man City, or whoever. Don't even fucking say Man United because he's never coming there. Fuck that guy. Cut to 2 transfer windows later. James Ward-Prowse has been announced. No, but I feel like 2 things will happen. One, he will not be able to deal with the added workload. He's just not used to that shit.
But I'm saying the workload is now designed.
Let me finish. He's not going to be able to deal with the added workload because Liverpool already have a long list of injuries. Right now they do. And let's say, maybe it's fair to say that in the future also, with the way their fitness team works, with the injury profiles of the players that they will continue to have injury problems because a lot of their players are injury prone. Thiago is injury prone. Wijnaldum was injury prone. So these are players that have an injury in them regardless of what happens. Which means that he's going to be asked to play a lot more games than he originally would have thought he was going to play. There are going to be chances where he's going to get to play against a Man City or an Arsenal or a Man United or whatever in like the top games, the games that you compete for top 4 or compete for the title for. he's going to be put into that position because other players are going to be injured. And he's going to be put in that position because he's the one, like you said, who doesn't get injured. Now, two things are going to happen in that scenario. One is, I don't think he's technically good enough to handle those scenarios. One. Two, he's going to get fouled a lot more because the opposing team is going to be playing a Man City or a Liverpool. When they're playing a Southampton, nobody gives a fuck. Everybody knows they're a walkover anyway. So things are already slightly easy. Nobody really goes for it. Especially not in his position. Because his whole job is he takes the ball and he distributes it. That's all he does. He doesn't take players on. I've never seen Ward-Prowse play into a situation where he's trying to take players on and he draws a foul. Other players draw fouls for him to convert from. That's always been the vibe. So he will, A, not be able to deal with the added workload.
I don't agree with the first point.
B, he will probably get fouled more and get injured more. Also, if he's going to be training with a top team, he's going to be training harder. That's also going to affect his proximity to injury. That is going to happen.
I think 38 games consistently at, say, a Southampton is broadly 15 to 20 games at Liverpool. And I think that's worth taking him on for.
But you're not thinking about the training sessions and all. Injuries don't only happen.
I'm taking into considering all that. I'm saying broadly, I feel like you've gotten this extra I feel like your hypothetical situation has gotten too specific in that. I think it's too specific. I get what you mean by he will be fouled a lot more, taken, granted. But I think in those 15-20 games, which against the lower level teams, which he probably knows how to play, I think it's an easy gamble to take someone like him. And the free kicks are such an extra bonus, and the balls, like the long ball in the corners, etc., are like, who wouldn't want that? So yeah, I think it's easy bet to take him in.
I mean, I would love to know what the listeners think about this debate. So if you have any thoughts on whether James Ward-Prowse, and you don't need to listen to this rewind, and I genuinely mean James Ward-Prowse, do you think he's a good addition to a top 4 team in the Premier League? Let us know in our social media messages, or if you can email us by going on our website, or email Mukesh, or get in touch with him on Instagram, because he needs to know what a shit opinion this is. Very, very frankly. Fucking एक बार 7-0 हरा दिया मैन यूनाइटेड को, तो सोचते कि बेंचोद सब हो रहा है, सब अपना ही चल रहा है. Then you get taken down to earth with a 1-0 defeat, and then you start making hot takes like James Ward-Prowse is one of the best midfielders in the Premier League. Bullshit.
Hasn't seen any game other than United games and is talking about all of the Premier League in general.
I mean, to be fair, I saw the United game which was against Southampton, so I have very recently seen James Ward-Prowse. And again, the only thing he did in that game was took a free kick that hit the post. That's it. He didn't even score from that one. He just hit the post. Apart from that, no real contribution from James Ward-Prowse in that game. But let's talk about the United game, because you spoke about football not being a violent game. Or again, I completely forget whether you meant it was a violent game or not.
It is a violent game.
It is a violent game. So do you think that Casemiro red card was a red card?
I can see why it was given a red, but I feel like I've seen it, stuff like that not been given a red, so I'm very confused by the end of it.
I thought it was a shambolic decision. I thought there was not a red at all.
And he got the ball, then he got the leg, and I don't know, but yeah, it was a very confusing decision for me, and I felt like if I was a United supporter or player, if I was,
in an alternate timeline.
I might have gotten very angry, probably, and I think rightfully so.
Yeah.
But I can also see, because I think the tackle looked really bad. And
the tackle, honestly, when it
happened... I don't know if it's a slow motion thing where it was a slow motion much worse in slow motion.
Yeah, because in real time, it didn't look that bad. It looked like he got the ball cleanly. And he got the player in the follow-through, which is what happens anyway. If you're going in for a tackle, there is going to be follow-through. But as long as you get the ball first, it's a fair tackle. And the replays, the slow-mo replays also, it looked slightly worse than what it was in the slow-mo replays. But the slow-mo replays also showed that he did get the ball first. But he got the top of the ball. So he didn't get the ball cleanly, but he still made contact with the ball
he
first.
Made contact, very clear contact.
Yellow card, fair. Because it was a reckless tackle, but it wasn't a tackle that was out of control. He didn't go studs up. He didn't go, two-footed or anything. Yeah. It wasn't a lunge where he was desperately trying to attack the player. He very clearly went for the ball and he got the ball also. And if that is a decision that is going to be referred to VAR, why isn't Bella Kochap handball referred to VAR as well? Why isn't that other penalty shout in the game referred to VAR as well? Those decisions were not even looked at, and they were both stonewall penalties.
Yeah, I mean, I agree. Like, I don't think it was Stonewall penalties, but yeah, I guess
They were Stonewall
I could see them
penalties too.
broadly in the same zone as this red card, which was in the dubious decision. That I feel like I'm not sure which games, and I think Eric Tanak mentioned those games, and I feel like there was a Chelsea game where a very similar decision was taken, but it wasn't given a red like it was given this time. And I think I did feel like United were slightly shortchanged by VAR, but again, it felt like it was 50-50. Or it felt like inconsistency rather than United was specifically targeted. It felt like in different games, different decisions were given, and it just felt like another case of who draws the line, how thick is the line that is drawn, etc.
We know Lee Mason doesn't. And he got fired for that. No, but exactly. Like, I feel like there's so much inconsistency, and Anthony Taylor is one of the worst referees I've seen in the Premier League. He's just utterly fucking shambolic. Like, he has done this multiple times in the past with United as well. And in the same game week, Arsenal in the Arsenal Fulham game, Bukayo Saka also had a reckless tackle that wasn't even looked at by VAR. Like, even that was a tackle where he went straight studs down on a player's ankle. That could have broken a player's ankle, and that wasn't even looked at. So, I mean, where is the consistency? And I feel like United got only a point from this game because the referee worked against them, because they were at a disadvantage from a very early stage in the match. And to come out with a 0-0 draw with 10 men, you're playing more than 60 minutes, 10 men is remarkable.
It's remarkable, very remarkable. 1 point is good. 1 point is great.
Yeah, it's because when you get 0 points, I feel like 1 point
I feel like if we play 2 games, 1 loss, 1 win and 1 loss is better than 1 draw and 1 loss. But it's okay.
Yeah.
But no, but it was unfortunate that United had so many decisions go against them.
Yeah.
'Cause I think maybe that's the dubious part. There were so many decisions that consistently went against them, with VAR just being inconsistent and slightly unfair. So I can see why United fans are aggravated. And it's unfortunate. But I guess I'm lucky as a Liverpool fan that there's some compression of points that's happening.
Right.
And hopefully Brighton and Newcastle and all, Tottenham, hopefully next time they've drop points and follow suit.
I remember there was a time, I think last season or maybe in a few seasons before, as a United fan, even I was like, I hope Newcastle is now, but I hope Brighton drop points, I hope Tottenham drop points. And I'm glad that you're getting that feeling now.
I've had it for the longest time, in 2017-18, so I'm used to them. Like, it's like I greet it like an old friend.
Yeah.
It was all new feelings for you. So it was nice to see you crumble.
Yeah. But as we're talking about VAR, Akash, who's not on the podcast today because he's working for money and all, apparently. Like, that shit's important. But he messaged us earlier saying, if you're going to bitch about VAR, you have to bitch about the Demarai Gray disallowed goal, which we will do in the second half. So in the second half, we will talk about the disallowed Demarai Gray goal. We'll talk about Arsenal's victory over Fulham, and we might just do a brand new segment, which might be interesting. So see you on the other side. Welcome back to the Corner Flag, everybody. As always, we do not begin the second half with some questions purely because we forgot. We forgot to put out a story asking for your questions.
The pinnacle of professionalism, that is Corner Flag.
Absolutely. It is but you know what? Let's cut Prashant some slack, because Prashant is usually the one who puts out the story for questions, and he's getting married in 3 days. So,
I don't know, man. I don't know. I still feel like he should put out questions. That's important. This is way more important.
Bros before hoes, bro.
Corner flags before wags.
Flags before wags. Yeah, that's correct. So we do not have questions, but we will have questions next time around, because we'll probably be a little less lazy. So let's go straight
into... little more married and a little less lazy.
Little more married, little less lazy. So let's go straight to that Everton game. Everton winning 1-0 against Brentford. Dwight McNeil scoring an absolute beauty to take the lead against Brentford. But then Demarai Gray also had a goal that was disallowed by VAR. Now, your thoughts on that? Is Akash an absolute idiot
Correct.
for thinking that
Correct.
this should have
I
been.
have agreed further. I agree.
You agree.
I agree. He's an idiot. Now let's proceed.
This is regardless of what the statement was after.
Yeah, for thinking Hitler's a bad guy, that's later.
Yeah.
But first, Akash is an idiot. Then let's proceed with the rest of it.
Yes. But do you think that Akash is right though in wanting VAR to not overturn this goal? Do you think this goal should have stood?
I think from the angles that I've seen, it looks like, and I don't know if Akash saw more angles or different angles, but it looks like it was very nice. It was clearly should have been overturned. I think there was a lot of hand going into that goal before.
I don't think there was a lot of
there
hand.
was enough hand for it to be disallowed.
Yeah. But I feel like, again, there's the inconsistency, right? Like there's enough hand over there as there was in Bella Kotchap's penalty incident in United vs Southampton. Similar amount of hand, which is, I realize now, a very weird statement to make.
Correct.
But yeah, it was a similar type of handball, and one was overturned and one was not given as a penalty. So what exactly are the referees thinking here?
Yeah, I mean, honestly, forget about what happened to United, but I think this is a very clear. I don't even think this is it's questionable. I'm like, what is Akash complaining about? Like at this point,
the fact that he's an Everton fan.
That's probably what it's about, because it was very clear. Good. Luckily they won. Otherwise, we might have had to hear one entire rant about it
from Varanasi, where he is shooting currently. Yeah. We'd have to hear that shit. But even with the disallowed goal, it was still a victory for Everton, a 1-0 victory for Everton, which sees them go out of the relegation zone. They're now in 15th place, which is good. Sean Dyche magic is working.
Yes.
They're getting these hard-fought 1-0 victories, and again, the next game is against a fellow struggling team in Chelsea. So, there is a possibility of points there as well. But Everton now...
Who thought that a Potter versus Sean Dyche match will be Chelsea versus Everton?
Yeah.
Who would have thought that 2 years ago?
Yeah. Everton 15th with one extra game played and a 1 point gap. So they're not out of the woods just yet, but they will be happy that they ended this game week comfortably out of the relegation zone. Of course, nothing down there is comfortable this season. So I think more than the title race, the relegation battle is far more interesting this season.
I think 12 to 20 are all possible candidates to get relegated.
Yeah. It's absolutely crazy. But let's talk about the team in the title race. Let's talk about Fulham losing 3-0 to Arsenal.
Oh.
Leandro Trossard, man.
3 assists.
3 assists. Fantastic signing.
A fantastic signing. And I'm like, this is great. I think they signed him in Jan, right? I think it's really textbook. They knew where they were lacking. They knew where they had a disadvantage, or where City could screw them over. And they came and filled that gap.
Yeah.
And look how well that's shining. A certain Liverpool, if there's a gap, they just let it widen. But this is fantastic signing. And it's so nice to see a January signing do well, because usually I think they're almost unfairly and heavily criticized even for small mistakes, etc. They're not performing, but I think it's nice to see a January signing just come full blast. Yeah,
and also, I mean, as it stands, both Arsenal and Man City have played 27 games and are first and second, but there is still a 5-point gap. So that is extremely good to have at this point in the season, where you have roughly 11 games left. And if we look at Arsenal right now, you would think that, the crumble is coming soon. They're going to bottle it soon enough.
Yeah.
But just looking at the squad, Jesus is now back from injury, so they have that option available.
Correct.
Trossard has settled in really, really well, like we just discussed. So, if Odegaard's not playing well, or if Saka's not playing well, Trossard can come up with the goods. It looks scary, man.
It looks scary, and more of, what you said, right? There are fewer reasons for them to crumble.
Yeah.
Players not being available, I think that's a little untrue now, because their backup is looking good.
Yeah.
Players not being able to win tight games is untrue, because last week they had a tight game that they won. This week they won comfortably. So there's a clear adaptability in the players' minds. There's not been any major shocks from outside or anything that could affect them. The players aren't in some extreme trouble, whatever. None of that is happening. There are no misfits or players with bad attitude in the team that could ruin it. I think it looks all good tidings for Arsenal fans.
Yeah. In fact, Arteta's really cleaned up house really well over there.
And trust the process began as a joke and it's beginning looking good.
It's come to a point where I don't want to trust the process. I don't like the process. I hate the process. The process should die.
Yeah, but the process they're giving them.
Would you like it if Arsenal won the Premier League?
I honestly would like it if Arsenal won the Premier League. I know Liverpool fans want City to win because there's that bitterness, but I just think it just reads much nicer.
It almost feels like everybody who's not an Arsenal fan wants Man City to win the title because there is a sense of recognition and familiarity with Man City winning. Because
it's much better for football, I think.
It is, correct. You and I get that. As educated football fans, we get that it is much better for football. But football is a violent game.
No, I understand.
It's tribal behavior at the end of the day, right? Like we don't care about the sentiment of how good it is as football fans. We're just like, banter. We don't want this team who's never won in so long to win now because our teams have also not won in
well, if there's one team that knows the feeling of not having won in so long and won, I feel like it's Liverpool.
Man United as well.
But yeah, no, I would definitely I would want Arsenal to win. I would like it if there's an end to the Man City winning machine, that there's a formidable opposition to that. And I do think, they have a little bit of that luck luck and good investment sense that Liverpool lacked.
Right.
So I think those two things are very important when you take on a team like Man City who have so much money. They don't need luck.
Yeah.
They don't need it really. They have so much money, they don't need any of it.
Yeah.
And next year with the addition of Newcastle, etc., and Chelsea also becoming richer, it's going to be tougher. So I think this is nice. It's nice that they're at the right place at the right moment. And it's good.
It is good, right? Let's also talk very quickly about the match of the day drama. Of course, we don't get match of the day here in India, but in the UK, of course, Gary Lineker presents match of the day, and BBC asked him to step down because of his tweets against the UK government. So I guess we do get match of the day in India because this is exactly what you would expect from political parties in India.
Yeah, it's the same stuff that goes on everywhere, I guess. What are the colors of their party? Labour or Tories?
Blue.
So I guess the blue is the new orange.
Yeah.
But yeah,
we're going to get cancelled so fast.
But on the other hand, if match of the day is looking for people who will take over the show shamelessly.
Exactly.
It's great that there's so much solidarity amongst pundits and former football players.
Yeah.
And we are in solidarity with Gary Lineker too.
But if they give us a contract, even if they tell us to work for free, we'll do it.
We'll do it. We'll pay them to work.
Yeah.
Whatever it's not going to be much, but we'll pay them.
Yeah. No, but it was absolutely ridiculous that he was asked to step down. Ian Wright and Alan Shearer were the two panelists who also stepped down in solidarity. But since then, like just earlier today, it has been resolved. So Gary Lineker will be back presenting match of the day. The BBC has decided to step away from pursuing any sort of penalties against Gary Lineker. So all's well that ends well, I guess. But it just puts the BBC and the British government in a very bad light. Like everybody's going to be like, "Kya chutiya loge tum log?"
Exactly. And I think to avoid any such controversies, all of you should tune into this indie podcast called Corner Flag.
Yeah. And to avoid all of this controversy, I think the BBC should just hire us full time.
Yeah.
We won't say anything bad against anybody's government.
Yeah. We love all governments.
Yeah. I mean, let's be honest, we don't love all governments. We pretty much hate most of them, but we won't say it.
We won't say it. Yeah.
We'll hate them on our own time.
We will pick completely different right wings and left wings. And that is normally used in political commentary.
Yeah. Football's not political, man. Yeah. But then why is there a right wing and a left wing,
dude? That's Salah there on.
Yeah. There's a center also.
Yeah. And there's a goalkeeper. I don't know how that fits, but
The only difference is the goalkeeper doesn't change the goalposts, much like most politicians. Finally, let's also talk about the Barcelona situation, because the Barcelona board has been charged of corruption. And in other news, water is wet, the sky is blue.
Man City might also be corrupt.
Man City is corrupt. Mukesh also thinks James Ward-Prowse is a fantastic footballer. What else is new? But this is interesting because they played Athletic Bilbao over the weekend, and the Athletic Bilbao fans threw fake money on the pitch, which was the best way to protest to make fun of a club.
I wish someone did that for British and English teams also, threw some fake money.
Yeah.
To make the calls for action more clear.
I think with the cost of living crisis in the UK right now, because things are so expensive, I don't think the British public can even afford
Even
fake money.
paper. Fake money costs too much real money.
Yeah, it is not possible.
No, but yeah, because I still dream of the day when Man City gets stripped of their titles and the second place teams take the titles, like it happened with Juventus back in Italy. So I really hope for that day.
नहीं होगा.
भूल
जाओ, नहीं होगा. I mean, I also have skin in that game
Correct.
because United also came second once. Twice.
Oh yeah, once?
I mean, once was in the Aguero season, which we lost on goal difference.
No, but I think that season's okay.
And once was under Solskjaer.
True. Mourinho came second once. Solskjaer.
So then three times. Mourinho also came second. Both the Mourinho and Solskjaer seasons we were the best of the rest.
Best of the rest, yeah. They were clear best of the rest.
We were the best of the worst, basically, because that season was bad for everybody involved. Right, on that note, let's go to our final segment, which is a new segment which we're doing, which is called, If This Is the Headline, What the Fuck Does It Mean? Okay, so let me just explain the segment really quickly. While researching for the run order for every episode of the Corner Flag, we obviously look around the internet for news stories on what to talk about. Now, because the internet is the way it is, search engine optimization is a thing. So you have to write your article headlines in a way that intrigues the algorithm and that intrigues the reader into clicking that article and seeing what it's all about. So sometimes these headlines can be just straight up misleading. So I've highlighted two articles like this. I'm not going to, I haven't read them. Mukesh hasn't read them. I've only got the headline open. So
this sounds like a magician's trick.
Yeah. I'm going to cut this woman in half. No, so what we're going to do is, I just have the headline in front of me. We're going to reveal the headline. We're going to talk about what we think that headline might be. And then we'll go into the article and see what the actual article was about. So our first article is the headline here. And this is an article from Caught Offside. So the headline for this article is Photo. Lesson learned for Garnacho as Man United star leaves Old Trafford on crutches. What do you think this article is about? What is the lesson that Garnacho has learned?
That he should never play football ever again.
Yeah.
That is, leave football because you can leave on crutches and you get hurt. So I think everybody just never play football. Quit all ambitions of playing football.
If you want to play football, then be ready to have medical insurance and a reduced capability with your feet.
Yeah, or enter football ground with padded. Just be completely padded. Come dress like a ice hockey goalkeeper. That's the best way. I think that's the lesson we learned from this injury.
Right.
Or be three-legged so that in case one leg gets injured, you have a spare leg.
I feel like at some point, you remember that Nike advert for, I think this was the 2014 World Cup in South Africa. They did that animated short film where all the world's best footballers are going into exile because there's robots and their likenesses, their robotic likenesses that are taking over, and every game is just purely robotic. And then it's the original Ronaldo that brings them together saying, but where is the fun, guys? Where is the human element? Fantastic film. But I feel like that's eventually going to be the evolution of sport, where it's just going to be like robotic legs or like bionic.
Oh my God,
legs.
You think chatbot is going to take over like football bot, where it's going to like play like football players?
Probably.
That's great, guys. So please don't take up football.
Okay, so now we're going into the article, and this is what the article actually said. Now, this is how much of a reach this is. Okay, Caught Offside. This is ridiculous. It says things can change very quickly in football, and Man United star Alejandro Garnacho may end up regretting, and this is the lesson he's learned, that he should not mock people, because he balked Barcelona's Pedri recently after being seen walking away from Old Trafford on crutches after the 0-0 draw against Southampton. So basically what happened was Garnacho scored in the Europa League against Barcelona, and he did the goggles celebration, which Pedri does, but Pedri missed the match due to injury. So Caught Offside thinks that he was mocking him for an injury. And now he's injured. So matlab tit for tat.
Tit for tat. Guys, clickbait.
Basically, I feel like our version was better.
Our version, I think ours has a better moral. Ours has a better understanding of the universe.
Okay, our second headline is from The Independent. The headline is Eddie Howe gives Callum Wilson honest message about England chances. What do you think this honest message is?
Will the Queen come back alive? He was the honest message in question.
You'll get to play for England only if the Queen comes back.
Alive.
I feel like the honest message was तू हगता है. तू नहीं खेलेगा इंग्लैंड के लिए.
It's said in this language.
In this language. तू हगता है.
तू हगता है.
I don't know what Eddie Howe's accent is. But it is basically him saying, Callum Wilson, you're not going to get chances for England because you're shit. You're not worth an international call-up. I'm going to be very honest with you because that's what the headline says. Honest message. So this is as honest as it can be. But the article actually says, asked if the former Bournemouth frontman still saw himself as an England player, club boss Howe said, it's difficult for me to comment for him, but I see him as an international player and I want that for him. How is that honest? How is that honest?
Amogh, we should also just start writing anything for clickbait.
Yeah.
We should be like, corner flag insults.
Corner flag insults Messi.
Yeah. Corner flag thinks Messi is...
Corner flag insults Messi's mom.
Yeah. Corner flag insults Messi's mom. That's our done.
Yeah.
Why? Why? Fuck that. How does it matter? We just insulted Messi's mom.
Exactly. Right. On that note, it is time to end this episode of the Corner Flag. Thank you so much for listening. We'll be back again next week, hopefully with another few random articles like these that we can make fun of. Thank you so much for listening. And if you'd like to get in touch with us and tell us what you thought of this episode or any other episode, you can reach us on our social media. You can find Mukesh on Instagram at
Mukesh Manjunath.
And you can find me on Instagram and Twitter at Amogh and Mukesh.
That's because his name is James Ward-Prowse.
No, it's not. I am better. I genuinely think I'm better than James Ward-Prowse. As a person, as a footballer.
That's basically the article.
Amogh
says he's better than James Ward-Prowse.
Yes. You can also follow the Corner Flag on Instagram and Twitter at @CornerFlagPod. Do visit our website, thecornerflag.in. Support us by buying us a coffee on buymeacoffee.com/thecornerflag. Any donation you make will be really, really appreciated by us. And if you can't do that, please do follow us on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you get your podcasts from. And do not forget to give us a 5-star review. That really, really does help us. Shout out to Kezad Gharda for composing our theme tune. And until next week, it is goodbye from us. So say bye, Mukesh.
Bye, guys.
And it's bye from me.